This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Good morning, Grant Hall. How are you today?
I'm fine. I like the music, Phil. May has always been my favorite month. It's the one month that seems it's just perfect for golf weather, not too hot, not too cold. And the courses are taking shape. They're green. Playing a tournament this weekend, the Ellis Bogan Memorial two-man scramble at Paradise Valley Athletic Club. So looking forward to that.
What do you think of watching Brooks dominate in the PGA Championship this past week? And I guess you were one of the people. I guess some of the headlines are that it was low ratings. I don't know what you're supposed to take from that, but pretty fine performance by a guy who just continues to add to his major trophy calendar.
Yeah, it's his fifth one and his third Wanamaker.
Yeah, and he's I guess he's tied for 15th or something all-time majors. He's in there with he's tied Byron Nelson and Lee Trevino at 5 majors and some others. So he's kind of coming around a little bit in terms of his personality. He's not quite so surly. He's not fighting the media quite as much. Maybe, I don't know, maybe the live thing is why.
Well, he got married. Maybe that helped a little bit, right?
Yeah, in fact, she's having a baby in a couple of months. They showed her at the Heat game last night. You see that, Matt? Or the Celtics finally won one.
Oh man, the Celtics showed some sign of life. I was gonna ask you about that. That they finally, because after Grant, the game 3 when I watched it, I'd seen a team quit, and I could count on my hand one time in all my years of playing professional ball or college balls that a team that you thought the other team actually quit. It doesn't happen much, and it seemed and basketball's a little different. You kind of get a lead or something, you want to rest your guys in the playoffs, but when you're down 2-0 like that and then just got absolutely destroyed, you had to think the Celtics were going to come out and show a sign of life.
Well, they were down 33 in that game you mentioned, and then to finally win that game, I think Charles Barkley said at halftime something like they didn't have mental toughness. He's talking about the Celtics. And weren't they down 6 at halftime? I think I'm right about that in that game. So, and I think Shaq agreed with him. And I know, Dudley Dawson he's the huge Boston Celtics fan around here, but I used to like him a lot when I was a little kid. You kind of root for these series to just go on a little bit. Like, the Lakers weren't able to do that. LeBron scores 31 in the first half, and they still lose. And if you watched his press conference, Matt, he did. I mean, you're kind of wondering after is he done? Is he done with the Lakers? I've got a friend who thinks that he's angling for San Antonio and playing with the 18 or 19-year-old kid, and then maybe playing with Bronny in a couple of years.
Well, yeah, Coach Pop coached him in the Olympics. I think he has a lot of respect for him, and I think that's it, Grant. I think he wants to play with his son. He's owed 47 and 50 there in L.A., and I was talking with Phil about this yesterday. It's hard, and you see the aging superstar, and I'm not putting him in the Carmelo Anthony category or the Allen Iverson category where they get where they won't listen to anybody and they won't accept a role. But if LeBron if you'll just tone back and say, hey man, we don't even need you the first 30 games of the season, and then you kind of pick your moments and kind of build a little bit later in the season. But he doesn't need to play more than 40 regular season games if you could find a way, because with him it's hey, let's get into the tournament, because you saw, Grant, I thought he did all he could in that first half, and then he just had nothing left in that second half.
Yeah, and I think, if you notice 2 or 3 times in the post-game presser, he was asked about next year. He really didn't even want to talk about the Lakers and next year. So that kind of got me wondering, is he at least through with them? But I think he's also tired and discouraged and a little bit hurt, and his stud, Anthony Davis, man, I expected more out of him. He looked shy at times. He was just out there kind of just going through the motions.
Guys, what I think about? I stepped out for a moment because they had the national anthem here. I think LeBron, and I don't mean this, it's not that he's a drama queen. He knows how to build the drama. He knows how to get the attention. and he's known that from the very start of his career. I mean, the decision was partially about that, right? Was creating some drama to get people to watch, and then he ended up donating a ton of money to the Boys and Girls Club with it. It blew up in his face a little bit, but still, he knows how to create drama. I don't think he's going to retire. I think this is on brand for LeBron, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I mean, I think the San Antonio idea has some merit. That may be where he lands.
So we're getting Arkansas and A&M coming up in just a little bit here. Grant, no matter what happens here, this team's playing at home in the postseason, no matter what. So what do you want to see while they're here?
Well, I know that I guess maybe a few fans were thinking, well, why are they talking about just, saving the pitching and, why aren't you going all out to win this thing? Well, you know the drill, Phil. You've seen it a number of times. They're starting Adcock today. They're not going to stress any pitchers, and they're going to try to get. I think probably the biggest thing is to get these outfielders going. The guys that have been hurt, and Borfin has been slumping a little bit lately. If you could get at least two of those three hitting well in this, however many games they play in Hoover, that would be a plus. But maybe Peyton Holt is hitting, .619 the last 2 weekends or something. Slavens is hot. Cali is hot now, and I think if they look at the fact that Florida had 5 guys on the first team All SEC and they had 1 regular, maybe that's a little bit of fuel just for these few games in Hoover.
I don't think honestly, I don't think this team worries about that kind of stuff. They're not about the individual. I think that's plain to see when you're watching them. And I don't. Maybe Jace Borfin would be somebody that you would say could have been snubbed, but then it comes down to parsing just a couple of statistics here or there.
Yeah,
it says so much about what this team has been about, though, is that there's only 4 players that were recognized on all those 4 teams.
Yeah, and I think the injuries to Josenberger and Wagner kept them from those awards, so that was part of it too.
I think Cody Adcock. So for today's game, I think it's important for Adcock to feel good, to have some confidence going into the regional, and then it's not like NCAA success rests on Cody Adcock's shoulders. But this is a pitcher that all year long you watch him, is like his numbers don't match his stuff. He could be a real key to a 3rd game in a regional, a 4th game, if you got to play a 5th game in a regional, and then a 3rd game in a super regional, a 3rd or a 4th game in Omaha. I think Cody Adcock can really pay some dividends, and they need to feel good about him today. He needs to feel good about himself today.
Yeah, he was throwing 95 last week. I think McIntyre is really throwing well now, and that's going to be interesting to kind of see the whole thing. It's interesting. There were 3 shutouts yesterday. And what was up with Tennessee getting 1 hit? I mean, did they not want to play Arkansas again? What's the deal with that? I
know, and it was the best outing that kid Wansing had all year long, and probably would have been able to complete the 9th inning had they not been stopped for rain for a couple of hours. Tennessee is like you talk about like the talent not matching the numbers for Cody Adcock. For the record for Tennessee, they still could very well be one of the most talented teams in the country, but they just don't have the record to match it. And I think because of partially what happened yesterday, there's a very good chance that they are not playing at home in a regional. And I think that also means there's a very good chance Tennessee doesn't make it out of a regional because they're a team that's built for their home ballpark.
Speaking of records, Phil, and you know this, I'm sure, but I was startled to read yesterday that Arkansas has the most baseball wins of any team in the country since 2017. All those years except the COVID year, and by a lot. I mean, it's really not that close. So just the consistency year after year, and we talked last week about Dave Van Horn, the job he's done this year. I think it was appropriate that he was Coach of the Year. Yeah,
no doubt about it. No doubt about it. I'd like to see what the vote totals were for that, because honestly, if it wasn't close to 100%, I'd be surprised. O'Sullivan deserves some credit, but I think what Dave did. There's 5 Gators that were on that All SEC first team, so Yeah, Van Horn was amazing this year. This team's been a lot of fun, and I think it'll be fun to watch them in Hoover, no matter it is who they play. Grant,
Drew Smiley won last night, by the way, but he's 5-1 with a 2.93, and Benintendi's hitting 278, and Fletcher is still hitting 320. He slowed down a little bit, but Arizona's won 8 out of 10, so he's playing every day for Arizona.
I hope Fletch sticks there, because it looks like he really could. He's got that demeanor to not let us, because eventually the slump is coming. It's just, that's what happens when you're a rookie. But he's got that demeanor. I really hope he sticks. You know what? One thing that is missing right now from Arkansas in the major leagues is a star. And we've kind of had a star, somebody that's really been playing well for a while now. I mean, Benny is not the same player. Right now he's a singles hitter. Keuchel's out of baseball. James McCann is a good backup, but a backup. Mm-hmm. And you look through the
3.86, I think, something like that right now.
And Stanek is he's a one-inning reliever, and he's not a closer, so he's not going to be a star. But you look at the history of this program and recent players to make it to the bigs, like a Cliff Lee. Even going back, Eric Hinsky won a Rookie of the Year award. There isn't one of those players right now in the big leagues, and maybe Fletcher can be that guy.
Quickly, I know you guys got to run, Phil, but I wanted to mention Rick Hummel, great sports writer, passed away at age 77, all those years in St. Louis. I got to have him on radio one time, and he was great. And wish I'd known him better. I don't know if you ever met him or not, but tremendous sports writer.
I read him, that's for sure. And if you're a journalist and your nickname was the commish, and the actual commissioners called you by that nickname, that's some respect there.
BetOnline.ag is your #1 source for all your basketball info, stats, news, and scores. Get the latest odds and lines, including the latest player reports for this year's pro basketball playoffs. BetOnline is always your sports information headquarters this season, as we have you covered for all your sports wagering needs. Basketball, MLB, NHL hockey, right down to UFC and boxing. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way for you to get your betting info, including live betting options and your favorite casino and card games you can play right from your home. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. Be sure to use our promo code BELIEVE to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's BLEAV. BLEAV. Bet online, where the game starts.